It's very difficult to focus on making money. It's very difficult to focus on family. It's very difficult to enjoy your time here on earth. It's very difficult to enjoy the work that you've put in if you just don't feel good. If you just don't feel good, how do you enjoy that stuff? It's very, very difficult. I want to go kind of top down to show you guys like why it's important during this time, during these economic times, to not forego your health, right? Meaning don't start cutting corners in the wrong places. So let's talk about kind of why that is and why it matters. 88 million adults in the US, or more than 1 in 3, were living with pre-diabetes in 2008. And the crazy thing and the scary thing is that 84% of them did not know. A lot of this stuff, it's not that it pops up out of the blue. It's that we just are not aware, or we haven't been educated properly on some of the signs until we get to a point where it's too late. Now we're in the red, right? Now, instead of, changing your oil like you're supposed to, now you haven't changed it for 5, 10, 15, for some of you guys, 20, 25 years. All right. And now we get into a situation where it's like, oh, all this stuff is happening, and it appears to be happening quickly, but it's been building up for a really long time. So the first step is awareness. Here's where most Americans, most corporate working Americans start. We get out of college, right? You probably, you may have a little bit of a beer belly from the bad habits we picked up in college, from all the eating and stuff. You may have a little bit, but most of us, we get out of college in our 20s, we're feeling pretty good. Like things are going well. You get that first job, and now things start to kind of slowly start to go downhill. What do I mean by that? Well, now you're sitting a little bit more, right? Now you're inside a little bit more, most likely. If you're a normal American who came out of college and gotten a job, now you're a little bit more stressed because the responsibilities have increased. More of the bills are in your name. Now you might be responsible, maybe for a partner, maybe for a child, maybe for a parent, right? Or maybe for something else. And now you start to make, stress goes up, right? You start to indulge a little bit more because these are quick ways to get dopamine, serotonin, feel good chemicals to just release, right? It's like, gosh, I just need to unwind, right? Now you go to work, your boss is getting on your nerves, etc. So now you unwind a little bit more, right? Now we get into a pattern where you get off of work, and the very first thing we do is crack a beer or roll a J, right? And now we sit for the rest of the time. We don't get any sun because one time we get off of work, the sun is already gone. Like, it's so easy to get on what I call this conveyor belt. I want to be clear here. I'm not pointing fingers and saying, hey, you're lazy. You know what? I'm pointing at, listen, this is the conveyor belt that we are on automatically. We don't choose this. We're born into this. All right. So this, and by we, I especially mean those that grew up in the United States. Now things start to look a little different, right? Maybe there's a slight uptick in body fat, but there's definitely an uptick in your blood sugar level, for sure. All right. Now you might become a little insulin resistant. Your body, right, is releasing insulin, which is supposed to tell your body to your muscle cells to open up and go ahead and take some of that sugar out of the bloodstream so that it doesn't cause issues like diabetes, like obesity, like PCOS in women, like erectile dysfunction in men, like high blood pressure, like triglycerides. Shall I continue? Right. So this is huge. Look at all of these things that are coming as a result of just being on this conveyor belt, just simply being on this conveyor belt. Not that you're like, a lot of people when we start talking about their med, oh, I'm not that bad. Well, that's great, but not being that bad still puts you on this conveyor belt, right? It's not that horrible. No, it's not now. But as you slowly move along and become more insulin resistant, and then you become a little pre-diabetic. See, the thing that's interesting, guys, is that you can be a little pre-diabetic, right? It's not a problem until a doctor puts the label on you. Let me repeat that. It's not a problem until the doctor puts a label on you. So economic times get hard, like time like this, and then we start cutting corners in all the wrong places. There's only three triangles here. There's only three legs of the triangle. There's either convenience, when we're talking about food and how we look, convenience, right? price, and quality. Okay. We talked about this on Wednesday's show. Now, most people, most Americans will begin to cut on what? Price. They'll begin to cut on price. Right. So meaning that they want to get the cheapest possible. And by doing that, they get lower quality most of the time. We are already low quality, by the way. Right. And Apple now is not as nutritious as it was before. This is a study that came out. This is not just a statement. Now let's backtrack a little bit. We are here on the conveyor belt, become a little bit insulin resistant, right? Meaning that your body is literally just not responding to insulin anymore. So you might notice signs like extreme thirst. A lot of people I see with a lot of people, your belly might start to increase, right? Your waist to height ratio start to increase just a little bit. You might get a little skin tag, right? These things here on your neck or dark patches on your neck, right? And so many people, just a little bit, right? And we hide it under suits, right? We hide it under big shirts, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? But the truth of the matter is, you know that you don't feel the way that you used to feel. Right? You might get a little acne, you might crave a little sugar. It's very slow. It's just kind of like creeping. It's just kind of like, oh, right? But the trouble of that is that it causes big problems globally. What do I mean by that? Well, let's look at all these things that are influenced, helped, assisted by what I just described. Well, here we have diabetes. Okay, that's not them. All right, heart disease. Oh, hold up. Kidney disease. Oh, my goodness. Colon cancer. We've talked about that quite a bit, right? Stroke, Alzheimer's, dementia. A lot of us have been kind of lured into this state of like, well, it's just in my family. My dad had diabetes. My grandma had diabetes. They almost wear it like a badge. Like us, the Jones family, the Brown family, the Leviticus family, we just by 37 we just get diabetes. That's just what we do. Don't worry about it. Pass the sugar, right? So guys, I do this because we want to keep it light because these are very serious things. The thing that I always tell folks that I work with is like, I would rather work with you through the trenches to make sure that we are doing the things that we need to do to not have any of these happen than to be crying with you when it does happen. I'm not the second type. I'm not the one to sit with you and cry with you when the things are happening. I'm the one that says, hey, listen, 5-10 years down the road, this has already happened. Let's stop this now. And I just want to give the U.S. its flowers. We're number 1 in diabetes, number 2 in all time. Guys, this is not an award that we want. And then on top of that, Americans with diabetes, the numbers keep exploding. Like they estimate, and I could show you all these numbers, but they estimate 10. And then by 2020, and by the time we get to 2020, it's actually 15. Okay, so by 2030, they estimate 25, and we get there and it's 50. The rate at which we're growing in terms of these sort of things that are killing us, and not just killing us, but also literally robbing our quality of life. Forget death, right? Forget death. What about quality of life? What about waking up every day and feeling great, right? How do you expect to be the top of your game? How do you expect to be the best at your craft? How do you expect to be the best corporate athlete that you can be at whatever career that you've chosen, right? How can you be the best at that when you feel bad all the time? Or when you have a low grade of anxiety all the time, or when you have a low grade of brain fog all the time, or when you're low energy all the time, when you're always running in that last quarter tank, right? You're operating with sandbags around your ankles, right? You're operating with a weight vest on. You're operating with all types of weight on you, and we don't even realize it. We think it's normal. When I take people through a detox and they feel what it feels like to not have those things, they're shocked. They're shocked. And guys, we don't talk about this enough. That's why I do this on this show. That's why we do this show, period. Because there's certain things that are we just don't talk about. Now, let's go here. Let me just pull this up here for you real quick. So, right, statistical modeling tells us by 2030, we'll be at 568 million people with full-blown diabetes. Full-blown. Again, preventable and reversible. Okay. Preventable and reversible. So the thing that really gets me is that we don't really point out the real corporate culprits, right? So let's look at the food here. And this is the point that I want to leave you guys with, right? Cheap is most certainly not better. Right. I'm not saying that we should go be spending a ton of money. I'm saying we should be educated so that we make better decisions with the money that we do have. Okay. Because what's happening is that we've been brainwashed. We've been brainwashed by these folks, right, who have something to gain, right, who have something to gain from us eating poor food, such as Dunkin' Donuts, Pizza Hut, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Whataburger. Guys, when we look at the map, right? When we look at the map, we see, I don't even have a ratio for you, but you guys drive. I drive all the time. I drive down the street. Just pay attention to the ratio of fast food places to grocery food places. Just pay attention to that. Very big difference. Right? Very, very, very easy to get this stuff. Very easy. If we had crack houses set up on every corner, everybody would be up in arms. But the truth of the matter is, this stuff kills more people than crack every year. That's the truth. Right? So, the thing that blows my mind is like people hear that and they say, well, that's true. Well, what are you going to do? You want Chick-fil-A? Right? That's what we do. So it's so bizarre. This is why I can't cry with people. It's not that I don't have sympathy. It's that we're looking at the situation here and we just like, no, all right, cool. Okay, well then you don't deserve, you haven't earned the right to cry when it happens because you looked at it and you accepted the facts. You accepted that it was okay, unless you don't know. And now this is where we come in with education. Right? We come in with education because you don't know. The other thing that really gets me, guys, is that why are we keeping people ignorant, number one? This is not that hard to understand, number two. And number two, why do we continue to push these things? Because the people that push these things, guess what? You watch TV, right? Pay attention to the commercials. It's celebrities pushing Pizza Hut, Papa John's, Chick-fil-A. I ain't never seen no celebrity ever do a commercial that says, hey, why don't you drink some water? Why don't you eat some fruit? Why don't you get some high quality meat? Why don't you eat some salad? No, but never seen that. Never seen that because we're born consumers. We're born consumers, okay? And the thing is, even when we go to the grocery stores, you'd say, you know what, coach, I hear you. I got you. All right. I'm going to go get me some fruit. And even when we go to the grocery store, we're dealing with microplastics. Average person is eating about a credit card a week. Right. Just chopping it down. No. Can I get some hot sauce with this? All right. Our chicken. Look at our chicken. All right. We make them look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Big muscles, weak bones. All right. I mean, we'll be eating chicken these days. I'm telling you guys, man, the KFC in Jamaica, Trinidad, it don't taste the same because their chicken is different. It's not. And so this is the other piece of it too. It's like, I'm not necessarily saying, hey, we're doing the chicken is different. I'm telling you right now, I went to Trinidad, Tobago. I had me some chicken KFC. I'm like, this ain't the same. This is clearly not the same recipe. Where y'all get this recipe from? Right? And people, oh yeah, their chicken is literally different. I remember as a young child and growing up in Ghana, to eat chicken tonight, That means that the little kid, the fastest little kid, got to go catch the chicken, right? And then but here we have chicken in cages. We're feeding them by all types of hormones, right? So we have microplastics, we have hormones that are messing up with our system, and then we have all types of herbicides and pesticides and glyphosate and all of these different things in our fruit. So even the fruit ain't safe, the meat ain't safe, the veggies ain't safe. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Right? So I say all this to say there is another way. Our grains definitely ain't safe. Don't even get me started on that. They stripped that a long time ago. They want you to what? Eat. Take the safety off, right? So even when you naturally, your body will tell you, hey, I've had enough. Oh no, we process and we change the food so that we eat more and more of it, get less nutrition. So we eat more, we get less nutrition, more waste in our system, less good substances for our body to actually use, right? So what do we do, guys? Listen, we get to a source. Look at where you're getting your food from. Right? Look at where you're getting your food from. There's better food out there. If you need help finding it, go ahead and hit me up. Tell me your budget, and I'll tell you what you should do.
Welcome to the Good Life.